How y'all doing? How y'all doing? Everybody turn to somebody on the right and say, I'm glad you're here. Turn to somebody on the left and say, I'm sure enough glad you're here. Because I am indeed glad tonight to be here to induct my good friend Wayne Dawson. It's like, what I like about it is that out of all that you see, and you see all them suits and things on the air and all that fine dressing and going on, Wayne used to have some of the thickest glasses I've ever seen. Wayne May was probably the first nerd that I knew, because any place we went, everybody know I have a sense of direction challenge. I can't find my way anywhere. But the bottom line is Wayne loved to read maps. When he didn't have anything to do, he would read a map. I said, where are we going? He would flip it over, and like, you know, when maps used to fold, Wayne could get through a map quicker than anybody ever seen in my life. But what I would like to tell you about is a few stories. Out of all the news that we did and the traveling, and Wayne and I have been just so blessed by the gifts of God, that the talent that he has to write. And I had to take pictures, and we were like, they called us the Soul Patrol or the Mothership. But the key was, and Tony Garbo and some of the Fox 8 people can remember this, they could never find us. But they didn't know why they couldn't find us, but they would send us underground. So when they needed a numbers runner, they would say, call Herb and Wayne. They may know some numbers runners. And this is before cell phones, so we had to find a phone and say, hey, we're still alive, and we'll be there by 3 in order to get it on. But the thing about it is we kept close to the street where we came from. There were so many things that we always were re-examining ourselves because God was blessing us so much. We were covering one of the conventions, and they got a call and said, hey, you guys are going to interview the President of the United States. And we looked at each other and said, like, are you kidding me? And so we were so humbled as they did security and everything that we looked at each other and said, we need to go pray. Because you say, how does a cat from 79th and Superior and a dude from Orinoco ends up in the same room with the President of the United States? Wayne's prayers was answered, but I couldn't shoot it because I wasn't clarified, so I couldn't go. But anyway, I just thought that it was so amazing. There was times that we were always examining ourselves when in Wayne's neighborhood there were a couple of murders and people were kidnapped and they found the bodies and everything. And we went back to talk to the neighborhood about how they felt about these murders. And when we asked the kids what it was about, we were so disappointed and hurt because Wayne said, man, I grew up 2 blocks from this place. And he said, our community is getting hard. What are we gonna do? So we lost that tape and we did another story. But I just wanna tell you that it's about the ride in the car where everything wasn't always good, but we kept defining ourselves by the city we were living in. I remember doing the implosion when Cleveland was doing its real turnaround, that they were gonna turn the city around, and Wayne and I, the building imploded and we were all covered with I don't know what it was. It was mud, it was soot, it was dust, it was everything from about 100 years in that building. And we yelled for each other, hey, Wayne, where you at? Hey, Herb, where you at? But when you looked at it, it was almost a metaphor for the kind of life that we would have, that we would always be seeing something different and learning and being a part of this community growing. Ladies and gentlemen, I would just like to show you where Wayne has been.
Each day, these youngsters are required to write about what they did in a journal.
You see a lot of this kind of stuff?
Well, you know, it's getting pretty bad. You know, young kids are something else. Teenagers is terrible.
A lucrative boxing career placed on hold, millions of dollars lost. Has Mike Tyson paid enough for a crime he continues to insist he didn't commit? Sometimes they work in teams, sometimes they work alone. But the bottom line is they want your car, and they'll do whatever is necessary to get it.
I want to be able to get in there, tell everyone what I want to get it. It's easy, it's quick.
Mr. President, right now you're down in the polls. There seems to be a feeling across the country that there is a need for change. With that in mind, deep down, are you concerned about this election?
concerned about what's best for the American people.
Fox 8 News in the morning.
Good morning, Cleveland and all of Northeast Ohio. A Monday morning in the city. My name is Wayne Dawson. We'll hear from Jim Tressel this evening for the first time since he was offered a job as president of Youngstown State University.
How did you get through it, the 10 years? How did you find the strength just to keep on going day after day after day?
I go back to my past, and the things that happened to me there made me strong enough.
Tonda, on behalf of the members of the Word Church and Fox 8, I have 5 $100 bills. Would you pay it forward? This home here on West 44th Street is where Denise Toth lives. This part right here is where she would store clothing for the homeless. But as you can see, it's been hit by fire. So now the woman who helps the homeless is now homeless herself. But that's only part of her problem.
What keeps you humble, man? How do you stay?
Man, that's just how I was brought up, man. I'm very outgoing. I do things that normal people do. I'm not. I can't. Have the same privacy a lot of people. But I go to movies.
They got to shut them all down and stuff when you show.
Hello, everyone. I'm Wayne Dawson. Thank you very much for joining us this morning on Neighborhood. Thanks for joining us. See you next week.
Wayne, you're another Goddard, another Dick Clark. You look great for your age. Best of luck. Have a great night.
Ladies and gentlemen, my good friend, Wayne Dawson.
Wow. I'm tremendously humbled and honored to be, selected for this Silver Circle Award. And first of all, I just give honor to my Heavenly Father because without Him, I am absolutely nothing. It's been a wonderful ride at Channel 8. I'm one of those rare individuals that has worked at one station all his career. I got hired by Virgil Dominic. It's a blessing. I got hired by Virgil Dominic right out of Kent State University. KSU. They train you well, by the way, because I got hired, and I got hired in October, and that January I was on the air. They had a reporter trainee program, and the rest is history. 31 years later, I'm still there. Most of the stories that you saw, I did with Herb Thomas. We were the dynamic duo, there's no doubt about that. But Herb has moved on to bigger and better things. I never see him anymore, so I'm glad he came to introduce me tonight. Thank you very much, Herb. But it's just been a wonderful, wonderful ride. Channel 8, we're just a unique station. We really, really are. In my 31 years there, we've had 8 general managers, we've had 8 news directors, we've been sold 6 times. But we have remained Cleveland's own over all those years. And it's because of the people who work there. And that remains true today. So with that in mind, I'd just like to thank some of the individuals who I work with. Paul Perazini, who is our acting, hopefully soon to be general manager. Our assistant news director, Andy Fishman, we've worked together for many years. He's a tremendous, tremendous newsman, great news manager. Tony Garbo, who I absolutely love. Tony has a special place in my heart. Just a wonderful person. The stuff we do at Channel 8, Stuff the Bus and St. Jude and all the outreach that we do, basically is because of Tony. She's the brains behind it. She's the wind behind that particular sale at Fox 8. I'm on the morning show. I've been doing that for 15 years. And we've been dominant for 15 years. And I'm not bragging. It's just the way it is. We're blessed. We really are. Folk want to know, how you guys, how do you stay number one? I truly believe it's because we look at our job at Channel 8 in the morning, at least, as a ministry. We look at our job as a ministry. Our job is to inform, but also just to send people to work or school with a smile on their face, and that's what we do. So I just like to recognize my co-anchor, Christy Capo. Hopefully she's still here. Hey, Christy, and her husband, Hal. Darren Sweeney is the captain of the ship. He's our executive producer. He's over there. Hey, Darren, how you doing? And his wife. And then there's the one and only Kenneth Crumpton, kicking it with Kenny. That's my man. Kenny Crumpton's my man. So, you know, it takes a team effort and all the individuals behind the scenes. That's why we've been able to be #1 for many, many years, which is totally, totally a blessing. I also like to take just a moment to recognize my wife, who has been putting up with me going to bed at 7 o'clock in the evening for the last 15 years. I'm surprised we're still married. I go to bed before my 12-year-old daughter, actually. But when you get up at 2 o'clock in the morning, that's just what you have to do. I also want to, recognize my oldest daughter who's over there. Her name is Tamara. I'm so proud of her. My middle daughter, Crystal's over there. I'm proud of her. I have a brother who's a judge in East Cleveland. He's out of town, but his wife, Elsie, is there as well, so I'm also proud of them as well. It's a great, great night, a great, great honor. And once again, I owe it all to my Heavenly Father, because that's where I get my strength. So I first I also want to thank, and this is very important, Jeff Phelps, who nominated me. So Jeff, wherever you are, thank you very much for the nomination. I'm hoping I didn't miss anybody, especially over there. Oh, Gabe Spiegel's over there. Hey, Gabe, how you doing? These are the 4 o'clock news on Fox 8. But I just want to say thank you so very much for this honor. I mean, it's the greatest honor I've achieved since I've been in broadcasting. So once again, thank you guys. God bless you, and keep on doing what you're doing. A lot of talent in this room. Keep on making news. God bless you. Thank you.